when you're competing at those those CrossFit games, what's the build up to the actual? Because I know you compete regionally, and then you're competing. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. What's that ramp up like for you in terms of what's your sleep like? What's your calorie intake like? What were your recovery processes for your body?
Yeah, when I was like really competing, I'll give you 2016 was my best season. And so during that season, I was probably training 5 hours a day. So my morning sessions were typically some isolated conditioning movements, rowing, biking, running, swimming. I would do that, and then would also usually do like a weightlifting session at some point in there. Afternoons were again another weightlifting session, and then your normal, what you consider to be like CrossFit workouts.
Man, just tearing your body down.
Oh, it was a beat down, yeah, for sure. But I mean, like,
how much were you sleeping every night?
Probably 9 hours. Yeah.
Would you? I know the tech is way different now than probably it was then, because you can really measure your sleep if you're wearing like a Whoop or whatever.
Yeah, we didn't start using Whoop until I was like on my way out of like really competing. I wish I had been using it because I think it would have been helpful. But I was sleeping probably about 9 hours a night. I just to maintain and not feel like I was at a caloric deficit all the time, I was at least 5,000 calories, probably closer to 6.
So what goes into that every day? How do you get 6,000 calories? Is it just jar of mayo after jar of mayo, or what is it?
It was crazy. I was eating a lot of eggs.
Okay.
Yeah. I tried to keep it pretty clean too, so mostly gluten free too. So it's like not like heavy carbs and starches.
Okay.
Still would eat like sweet potatoes, or I would use. I still do like steel cut oats and stuff like that, so I'd still get a little bit of gluten in there. But a lot of just good clean food. I did a decent amount of supplementing, but not so much where you're like it dominated and took over eating good real food.
So
a lot of vegetables,
mostly whole foods.
Mostly whole foods.
Not a bunch of muscle milk and.
In fact, I only had I had 2 recovery shakes a day just after my workouts, but otherwise that was really it as far as like shakes go. So most of my food intake was actual real food.
So how much time did that take?
A lot.
Making your food.
A lot.
So you're working out and you're sleeping 9 hours a night.
It's a full-time job.
And you're making all your food.
Yeah, it was a full-time job. I had like an individual sponsor that basically covered everything. So all my food, my supplements.
So you had a sugar mama,
basically. Yeah.
I'm just kidding, brother.
But for real though, they took care of basically everything, and so that helped a ton because it's very expensive.
How'd you snag that?
They came to me.
They saw you at a competition.
So it was an individual guy. So this one guy, just really nice guy, and I'll even give this too. He opened my eyes to what's possible in life. So there's a wealthy individual, business owner. Who loved CrossFit, loved the community, and him and I just connected, and
became like a mentor to you.
Yeah, and I'm like a broke college kid, just like, he's like, hey, like, would you want to like really make it big here in like the sport of CrossFit? I was like, yeah, that'd be super cool.
No doubt.
And so he's like, awesome. Well, like, you got to start eating some better food for sure, because you're probably eating ramen noodles and hot dogs. I'm like, how'd you know my diet? And he's like, well, here, like, and he helped cover my groceries starting out, and I'm like, I eat on like $25 a week, man. So I'm like, I don't know what all this extra money's for. He's like, well, no, you're gonna start eating eggs and bacon for breakfast every day, and you're gonna eat steak for dinner. And I was like, I guess, but he started. That's really how it started.
So you're eating like you're pulling in calories like Michael Phelps. They would talk about Michael Phelps would pull in when he was training for Olympic swimming.
Yeah,
just because you have to.
You have to. Yeah,
because you're tearing your body down. You got to build it back.
Yeah, I would still try and get around 200 to 250 grams of protein, 300 grams of carbs, and about 125 to 100 grams of fat a day.
Okay.
So
really going hard at those macros.
Yeah. So
were you taking a nap between the morning session and the evening session or the afternoon session?
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes, if I could get one in, I'd sleep for 30, 45 minutes in there, just a little power nap in. But yeah, it's a beatdown, So plus I had a great recovery team, and I say it's a team because it took an army. So I did cryotherapy 3 days a week. I had a chiropractor.
Wow.
I had a massage therapist that came to the house. Plus I also had an Arasti guy.
So you were a real pro athlete.
Yeah, in that
A
sense.
real pro athlete.
Yeah.
Did you sustain any like orthopedic injuries?
I have a torn bicep, but
Yeah?
other than that, and it's still torn. Oh yeah, we have cameras here, so this is that one's still torn.
Oh wow, yeah, that's gnarly,
that's
man.
that's my normal good one.
Have you seen John Elway's torn bicep?
So funny. So I tore my bicep and I went to the orthopedic. I mean, it tore, and I don't know if you've ever seen a torn bicep, but it
Put up John Elway's torn bicep. So
when you tear a bicep, I mean, you see it immediately.
Brother.
So I tore it and I looked down and my arm was already deformed. I'm like, well, that's not good. And so I went and got an MRI. Like literally 30 minutes later, they called the specialist and like, I need to get in a guy in ASAP. So I went in. They're like, you just clean tore through the bicep. There's no rotator cuff damage, no labrum damage. And so the first surgeon I saw, they're like, we need to fix this, like, and it needs to be in like the next 48 hours. And I'm like, hold the phone. Like, I'm not getting surgery in 48 hours. So I called my friend of mine, who was an orthopedic surgeon down in New Orleans, and when I called him, I said, hey, here's what happened. He goes, send me a picture. Like, send me pictures, and do you have the MRI? So I sent it to him. He goes, this is the exact same thing that happened to Elway. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, I fixed Elway's. I was like,
really?
Did you really? He's like, yeah, don't do it. He's like, don't fix it.
What was what's that orthopedic surgeon's name?
John Fox.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he fixed Elway's, or at least his office did.
Yeah.
And so he was like, yeah, don't fix it. Yeah, there you go. See, mine looks just like that.
It really
There you go.
does.
Yep.
So
although my arms look way better than Elway's.
Yeah, they do, brother. Those quarterbacks, they got the yoga bodies, man.
He said don't fix it though, and the reason being was I tore the long head of the bicep. So there's two heads: the long head and the short head. The long head, the tendon's about the size of your pinky, which is still pretty good size, but the short head's about the size of your thumb. So you tear through the short head. I mean, it is a absolute
that's like a
mess.
climbing rope, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a mess. So
what was the pain like?
You ever been shot by a BB gun?
Yeah, you bet.
So it's like if somebody took a BB gun and just put it right to your shoulder and shot you.
Okay.
So that's about what it felt like.
Right on.
So that's we've all been shot before, right? So
hell yeah, if you haven't been shot.
Come on, you know what that feels like.
BB gun.
Yeah,
what are you
please.
talking about?
Yeah.
Like we got to step up the caliber if we really want credit, though.